Hey everybody, welcome to our live stream. We have Matt here from Royal Caribbean blog. I'm sure you know him, but if you don't, that is Matt. And we have got so many people in the comments, so many questions already. Thank you everybody for coming. Thank you, Matt.
Emma, it is a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation back. I always love cruising. I love talking cruising, and I especially love talking cruising with you because it's always a lot of extra fun. So thank you again.
Well, thank you, but I like listening to you talking about cruising because I'm convinced that you should do an audiobook or something, even if it's just a random project. I know it's not related to cruising. You should do it. You'd be really good at it. I know I say this all the time, but I
Well,
think that you should.
I'm working on it. All I know so far is it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Perfect. That's a good start. Carry on from
There
there and you will be good. If you have got a question for me or Matt, if you can start it with the word question, just like Sean has done here, it makes it so much easier for me to pick out what is a question. If we don't answer your question, it's not that we've seen you and decided to ignore you. The comments just go so fast, especially when we have guests on. It's like doubly as fast. So we'll get through as many as we can. And our first question comes from Sean. I think it is a good one. And he says, what made Matt start YouTubing?
It's a good question. I had a YouTube channel for a long time, and I posted like old Royal Caribbean commercials on there. Like I didn't really use it the way that I think we all watch videos now, certainly like you do, Emma. And then I started thinking about it, and I thought to myself, I want to be like Emma when I grow up. And I thought to myself, well, let's start making some videos and sharing in that, because as you know, Emma, it's fun to talk about cruises, and producing videos is a whole different ball game. But it's been kind of an adventure. My whole thought process, Sean, is always like, throw out the wall, see if it sticks, if there's interest, people like it, and there's a huge community of cruise fans here. So it's been a wild ride, but I've really enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, it's good fun. I don't know how you keep, I watch your live streams and I don't know how you keep everything so specific in your brain. But I love coming to your live streams, but sometimes I think, thank goodness I'm not getting some of these very niche questions you get. But I suppose that's what you get for doing Royal Caribbean blog. Everyone knows you as the Royal Caribbean man. And if I need to know something Royal Caribbean, if it's on your website and it's written down, it is true. If it's not there, I'm not commenting on it, basically, because you know everything there is to know about Royal Caribbean. Convinced. We have a question that says, are you looking forward to your Grandeur sailing? Be on board in February, so looking forward to your feedback.
Unfortunately, I canceled that sailing. So I know it's crazy. I rarely ever cancel a cruise. I have a saying in our family, Emma, Hotchbergs don't cancel cruises.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, Grandeur was announced December 5th is the first sailing for Grandeur out of Barbados. Okay. And they announced that before any other ship was supposed to sail from North America. So at the time, I booked it because I was like, I'm going on a cruise this year. I don't care how after this happened. I'm flying to Barbados. But with cruising back in North America and in the United States, there's so many ships sailing now. I just didn't feel, while the itinerary is really cool, I just didn't feel the need to go to Barbados to pick up a cruise to visit ports. Some that are new, but some I've been to. And also we're going to California later this month to go on a completely new itinerary there. So if I'm going to fly, and I hate flying, I'm going to go to California and do that itinerary. So it was
I think that makes sense.
We had to cancel.
Yeah, I think that's a good reason to make an exception to your rule. That's not a normal situation. So I think we'll let you have that one. But yes. Our next question is from John. It says, what is your favorite cruise line, Matt?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Let me think about it. I think it's Royal Caribbean. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that.
Imagine if you said something else, but you were like, I'm too far down the Royal Caribbean line now. I hate it, but I'm sticking with it. Right. I'm glad that you like it. But you have done other cruise lines too, haven't you? It's just Royal Caribbean.
I cruised. I first started cruising with Disney, actually, when I first got into cruising. And then I actually went on my last non-Royal cruise was 2012 on Norwegian out of New York. My parents paid for it. And Emma, when your parents pay for something,
yes, that's brilliant.
Why not? But no, Royal's my favorite, just like Emma.
That sounds awesome. I like that. Good answer. I really want to do another Norwegian cruise. I haven't done one for a really long time. I keep looking at them and I'm so tempted I want to come to Alaska. I want to go to the Caribbean. But when I look at it and it's add on $1,000 for airfare or something like that, I just think I can do 2 over here. So I'm leaving it for right now. I have to get back over to the US. Like, I haven't been for years, but I haven't got any booked right at this second. We have got so many lovely people in the comments. So many. I recognize my mum's in here. Everyone is in there. Thank you guys for coming back again and again. Hello to Kevin and Marcus and John. Thank you to my mum for saying hi to everyone so I don't miss that.
Hi, Mum.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, everybody. It's so busy. I was just telling Matt before this live stream, I hit myself in the head with my ring light just here. So if I say it, don't hold me to anything I say. Maybe I've got a personality change or something, but I'm feeling all right. But it hurt. It did make me tear up a bit. And I keep my ring light. Yeah.
Listen, this as YouTubers, this is the risks we take every day to bring you quality content.
Absolutely. Oh, we have a good question. I'm very passionate about the answers to this one. From Brian, he says he's booked a cruise. When should he buy the travel insurance for it? Should you buy it immediately or wait? I'm team just buy it. Buy it. You're gonna have to buy it. Buy it as soon as you can, and then you're covered for if you want to cancel or anything that happens before that. You got any strong thoughts on travel insurance, Matt?
No, I think that's actually a really good idea because I think inevitably, Emma, if Brian is anything like me, if you say, "Oh, no, I'll buy it later," never happens, and then oops, you forgot to buy it. So I would say unless you're like strapped for cash and you just want to spread out the cost, in which case then add a calendar reminder, but make sure you get it. But I would say just buy it at the time. It's just simpler and just one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, if you can, just do it, and then at least I will feel more relaxed. I feel so stressed out. People tell me sometimes they cruise without travel insurance. It makes me feel quite sick. So please, for me, just get the travel insurance as soon as you can. Thank you, John, for my super chat. He has a question for us, which is, what is the spud of the day? Potatoes are kind of a theme on this channel. I'm going for the classic roast potato because I've realized recently that not everyone else in the world has roast potatoes for dinner. And it breaks my heart. If I had Christmas and there weren't any roast potatoes.
This might be an American thing, Emma, but do they have you ever had baked potato with chili on top?
I suppose so. It wouldn't. That's quite a bit of an odd thing.
It's really good. It sounds kind of weird until you have it, and it's just like the dichotomy of the baked potato with the gravy, the sauce, whatever you want to call it, or the chili, and it soaks in. Oh, it's so good.
You just cannot beat a roast potato. If every meal could come with roast potatoes, I think it would be an improvement. And every meal inside a Yorkshire pudding. That's what I say. So yeah, from me, it's a roast potato. Matt, would you like to name a type of potato?
French fries, is that a type of potato?
You can have that. Yes. Let's not go into the crisp and all of that debate that I always have with UK and America. It gets very confusing. I did attempt to tackle the biscuit cookie difference in one of my videos recently, which is you could do a full video on the difference between cookies and biscuits, but I did do that. Baked potato with French dressing. Oh, interestingly.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure how to respond to that one.
Apparently, Matt, you sound amazing as you talk so slowly compared to your normal speed. I get this comment so much. I get this all the time. Yeah, because people say I speak too fast, but it's probably the same for you that you've learned over the years how fast you have to speak on you. If you stop for a second, everyone will leave. We're cutting out the breaths like we do breathe.
I get this comment all the time, and I just gotten used to it. And I used to be like apologetic. Oh, I'll try harder to speak slower, but it's never going to happen.
No,
and it is the way it is. And I'm sorry.
I just say, this speed is the result of years of testing. This is how long people can keep their attention for. If you want to slow it down, you can slow it down on your end. But I mean, I don't know the last time I watched a YouTube video not on 2x speed because I can't watch yours on 2x speed though because it's a proper speed for me. But normally I have to speed everything up, so I'm quite happy with it. I just need that constant kind
Stay strong, fast speakers unite.
I will. I absolutely will. So, what do you have planned, Matt? I'm sure you've got some exciting.
For cruises or for what I
just for the future. What have you got planned?
We're going on Navigator of the Seas out of Los Angeles coming up at the end of this month, which I'm really excited for. I've never done a Mexican Riviera cruise, so I've been picking Sherry from Cruise Tips TV, her brain, because she is the Miss West Coast cruiser.
Yeah,
and but it's exciting because I'm sure it's nice working in a new itinerary, something else you've never been to before. It's not a very common thing for us, but it's nice to have that kind of change of pace.
Yeah, it's quite nice to kind of not start right at the beginning, but to get that kind of really new. Because I've done many Mediterranean cruises. When I go to Barcelona or I go to Genoa, I've done that a few times. So it was quite nice to not know how things work. It was nice for me recently to do a fly cruise again to Spain and just to kind of wander around and not hear different languages, not be able to read the signs and stuff. It was just nice. It just felt like more of a kind of adventure.
Yep.
Oh, we have a good question about, will Royal Caribbean try to attract millennials? I think that they are doing a fabulous job of attracting millennials as far as if someone comes to me in their 20s and says, I want to do a cruise, you just have to show them a royal ship and then it's easy, I think.
I think Royal's been trying to attract millennials now for the better part of, I would say, 4 or 5 years at this point, at least. Certainly the rise of social media, I've seen a lot of focus on there.
Yeah.
And they are absolutely 100% targeting that market. You know, Royal's always been very much a, they've never really focused on one particular demographic. I feel like across the board, when you go on a Royal Caribbean cruise, 7-night cruise, 3-night cruise, you're going to find a healthy mix of different ages and groups that are out there. It's not just old folks. It's not just young folks. It's not just whatever the heck I am at this point. Like it's people all over the place. You've got kids, you've got teens, you've got 20 somethings, you've got 40 somethings, you've got seniors. It rarely skews heavily in one direction. Unless you start doing like, you know, transatlantics or really long cruises in which any cruise line is going to skew older because that's who can take the time off primarily.
Expensive, yeah.
Right, exactly. So, but no, in general, I think they've done a pretty good job of keeping it kind of even keeled in that regard. But I do think they've focused, like all cruise lines, especially pre-pandemic, to try to look at more what can the millennials be offered on board. But I still feel like there's a good balance. It's not like let's just make everything, you know, let's not go total Virgin Voyages on everything.
That's what I was thinking.
But let's also keep it like a little like, you know, here's some new things, here's some things that I think everyone's gonna like, and you know, see where it all falls out.
I was just thinking about the Virgin Voyages advertisements where every single person is about 20 and they're the most beautiful people that you've ever seen. They don't even look like they really exist. They're absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, Royal Caribbean, you'll see families, you'll see older people. I took a Royal Caribbean cruise. We have in our schools, we have a week off in October, and I booked that I didn't plan on it. I booked that week, and that had quite a lot of kids on it because it was a cheap one out of England. So everyone was doing the same thing as me, but fair enough. So yeah, I think as far as millennials go, I think Royal Caribbean is a very good choice. Good choice. Our next question, let's have this one from Justin. He says he loves big ships and he cannot lie. But what ship and itinerary would be best to get a feel for Royal Caribbean? Justin's very Team Norwegian. Bear that in mind.
That 7-night Oasis class ship. You will come over and you will never look back. There is nothing like an Oasis class ship. 7-night itinerary is always good for anyone who's looking to try cruising in general. I think it's enough port days and sea days to kind of get a good sense of what everything's about. And then the Oasis class ships are just so impressive. I was just on Harmony of the Seas last week, and it was incredible. And being back on there is just it's such a fun experience. I think whether you're coming from NCL, which has its own big ship, certainly you'll feel right at home on the Oasis class.
Yeah, I'm convinced that you would really like it, Justin. I don't know. Sometimes when I'm just looking at pictures and I see like a park or I see a central something, I assume it's a cruise ship now, even though it's a shopping center or something. It's kind of gone the other way for me, which is always a bit odd. But yeah, I have Hudson underneath my chair. He's bought me his favorite toy because he wants to play fetch, but I'm afraid we can't play fetch. But I do have this that my friends, the cruise boys, Tristan and Justin, got me, which I'm calling Mini Hudson because it looks. So when people ask me where Hudson is, I'm just going to show them this little guy. He looks a bit windswept. We need to like tap down his ears.
Yeah, you can put some books on him over at night so that his ears go back to normal, but otherwise you're good.
Yeah, but I can take this one on adventures. He's tiny, so Hudson can see the world through this cat. That is the plan. That is the plan. Next question from Lizzie. Hello, Lizzie. She says, what is your favorite specialty restaurant? Bought a package for Wonder of the Seas and looking for recommendations.
I love Izumi Hibachi. I don't know if you've done teppanyaki dining on land or at sea, but
I've seen it. It's not really my type of food.
You don't like chicken or beef?
Vegetarian.
Oh, even better. It's really heavy on veggies, actually.
Yeah,
I've eaten with plenty of vegetarians on board, and they love it. It's fun. You know, it's obviously they're cooking meats and whatnot, but you can also have, at the heart of it is just veggies. You've got
it looks like an amazing show. I've
It
seen,
is.
I've peered in. I've just never eaten there.
The food
But
is
yeah.
really good. It's really
Mm,
tasty because they just load it up with garlic and it's so good. But I love Izumi Hibachi.
yeah.
That's a really nice one to check out. I really love the new Giovanni's Italian Kitchen, which it's not sure yet
Mhm,
if it'll be on Wonder or not. We don't know yet quite a lot of features about Wonder of the Seas. Royal
mhm.
Caribbean, I think, is going to wait until after the new year and start revealing more and more about it. But
Yeah.
if they have Giovanni's Italian Kitchen, that is a must eat. I've been there on Odyssey of the Seas and Freedom of the Seas. Those are the two ships that currently have it.
Mhm.
And it is just so good between the pizzas, the appetizers, the fresh pastas, the chicken parmesan. Oh, I'm hungry now.
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
really good.
It's dinner time for me and everyone who's in the UK. So maybe we should stop talking about dinner. A question from Tommy that says, "Do you think that ships are getting too big? You think that is a too big?"
I think too big is relative. I think people thought that Sovereign of the Seas was too big in 1988,
Oh yeah.
and people freaked out about that. Not that Tommy's freaking out. You know what I mean? Like it's
Hmm.
I think as human beings, humans don't like change. Humans don't like things to be altered. We like to be familiar with something and then for that something to always be there. So
Yeah.
it's a little strange. That being said, I mean, we've been now, it's 2009. So, we've been well over 10 years since, in fact, more than that, since the Oasis class debuted first. And we haven't really seen, I
Right.
mean, I think what MSC, I think, has a ship that theoretically is going to be bigger, right?
Oh, Europa, all the
Yeah.
new world stuff.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think inevitably, it's possible to keep going bigger. It's just a matter, I think, of form and function. And
Hmm.
but if I
Ports.
was going to the question, I didn't even see the first part of the question. I just saw the last part. Which class would I prefer to mimic if an opportunity to design a new Royal Caribbean ship? I mean, there's, like I said earlier, there's the Oasis class and there's everything else. I love the Voyager class. I think that's a classic class of ships. So they're talking, Mariner, Navigator, Explorer, Adventure, Voyager. I mean, those are really nice ones as well. It's got to have a Royal Promenade, and once you have that as like your basis, you can really build
Yeah.
out from there.
It sounds awesome. I remember looking at all of the um, 90s commercials when I went on the Morella cruise. I was looking at the ships, and it's just so funny. I showed some of my friends who were coming on that Morella cruise with me, being like, "Look, we're sailing on the fastest, the biggest ship that ever hit Europe, and it's so exciting. It's all so sparkly, and it looks. I mean, it's a great ship, but it's not a big ship anymore. 1990s Royal Caribbean's quite tiny.
Yep.
But yeah, same thing in another 30 years. Who I don't even know. I'm excited though. It'll be good fun. We have a question about quantum. If you know this one, have heard the solarium is only for suite guests, but I've also read that that rule only applies on Asian cruises and not the US cruises.
Yeah, that's not. I don't know about Asian cruises, but that's not correct in the U.S. In the U.S., the solarium is for adults only 16 and above. I would be shocked if that wasn't the case when you go on
Yeah,
Quantum in
I would be.
Alaska.
Yeah, I would be really annoyed. So we'll go with free on that one. It's interesting how sometimes they do slightly different things on the Asian cruises. I mean, it makes sense, but
Yeah,
sometimes
and
it's slightly different rules.
right, and don't forget when Ovation of the Seas was first in Asia and then came back to the U.S. and Australia, they changed that back. So this isn't like to say that once you do something
Oh,
it's that way. So that I'm trying to give this particular person a opportunity to feel a little bit better that it's
oh
going to be.
yeah, yeah, of course. I've just seen your YouTube plaque there in the background. I'm so envious. I'm nearly at 92,000, and you get the little plaque at
Oh,
100. So
you'll get
I
it. You'll be there before you know it.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be too long. It looks just exciting. I can't I think in my brain I can think about 100 people maybe in a room, but I can't think what is 100,000.
1,000.
That's
It's a big accomplishment. The fact that you're almost there, I mean, that's tremendous. I didn't really pay that much attention to it until I got closer and people started mentioning, "Hey, you're almost at 100 and you're gonna get the." I
yeah.
didn't even know the plaque was a thing, and then I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, I've
Um,
known since the day I set up that account like 5 years ago, and it took me. I mean, it took me a couple of years to get my first 1,000, I think. But then it's like, you build
mhm,
on everything. There's a huge. I mean, between us, how many hours of stuff is there to watch right now? You could watch it
right.
just forever.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm excited about that one. Looking forward to it. Question from Nathan: Do you think the new Icon class will be better than the current Oasis class?
Well, better is a subjective term, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Emma and I we're already fighting over teppanyaki and whether or not that's a good idea.
Is
So,
that better or
there's
not? Yeah.
I mean, better. It's going to be. Let me put it this way, Nathan. Royal Caribbean, while very cagey about details, has been they've definitely hinted strongly that Icon class is going to be an innovative change. In
Mm-hmm.
what way, in what fashion, to what end, I have no idea. But
Yep.
they have, but whether you're talking about Michael Bailey, whether you're talking about different people across the company, they have basically been doing these like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Like it is going to be, in the realm of a game changer, that kind of an impressive
Yeah.
new ship design. So I think that at the very least, it is not going to be just more of the same, and that's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, but it's the same kind of thing as before Oasis. I don't know if, I mean, obviously someone thought it up, but I couldn't have thought it up before
Mhm.
that. So who knows what we will see, but it'd be very, very cool.
Yep.
We can you do some reassuring for Pete, please? He's taking a cruise and he's really worried about the new things changing from Port Canaveral with Royal Caribbean. Some just nice encouragement.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably two changes. One that actually just got announced. I just posted about this like 2 minutes before we started this live
Yep.
broadcast. I don't know if you have unvaccinated kids, Pete, but I'm gonna go with probably not. But anyway, there's a change for unvaccinated kids. They have to get a PCR test instead of an antigen test before the cruise. And then obviously, Pete, I'm sure you're well aware of what the United States just announced yesterday or the day before with some of the new requirements to enter the country. And I forget when those go into effect. I'm not sure if they affect your cruise or not. But as for the actual protocols on board, anything can change. I think it's something you have to be aware of, but I also wouldn't worry too much about it because I feel like number one, your cruise is so close in that it's probably not going to have an effect on it. In fact, the change I just mentioned to you for the PCR test, that doesn't take effect until December 17th. So there's a little bit of runway for you to go
Yeah.
there. But I've been on plenty of cruises. I remember we went on. I remember when the Delta variant came out, and we had just finished cruising in July, and it was like, wow, all right, this is great. And then the Delta variant was like, oy vey, like I don't know what to expect anymore.
Yeah.
And then this is just part of the cycle, if you will. Right now, we're in the shock and awe, and then as it gets more well known, I feel like the protocols, the effectiveness of the vaccines, all that stuff come into effect here, and I think that you'll be fine on your cruise, Pete. So I would, if it were me, and I've got a cruise a little bit after you. I'm going on a cruise at the end of this month. I'm certainly not even thinking twice about it in that regard. I think you just do what you're supposed to do, follow the best practices, and I think
Yeah.
you'll have a great vacation.
Yeah, as long as you check your emails, make sure you've done everything that
Yep.
is in your pre-cruise stuff, you'll be totally fine. I feel optimistic. I think things are getting better. And I mean, have you seen how many ships are sailing now out of how many total capacity? We're getting good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing well. I don't think people realize how many ships are sailing right now.
Yep.
But I'm feeling good about it. So yes, Pete, have a fantastic cruise. I'm sure you will. We have a question about solo cabins. Do you think Royal Caribbean will ever have any solo cabins? And then it says, do you think the cruise industry will make it fair and affordable? Maybe 20% more than a person staying with a partner.
It's a good question. I mean, Royal does
Yeah.
have solo cabins. They have them on about let's call it a dozen ships or so. Now, some ships have like literally, Emma, 2 solo cabins. Okay, so it's not like there's
Oh,
a whole
really?
deck or anything like that. I think
Okay.
at the most, some of the Quantum class ships have like 12 or 14 solo cabins. So it's not to say that you've got an overwhelming amount. I think
Yeah.
inevitably this is one of these answers where we have to remind ourselves this is a business, and the double occupancy rationale is there because it just makes them money. That's the way that it works. It's just
Yeah.
it is what it is. I would say one more thing, the little tip that I always look for, even when I'm cruising solo, is always price out both a solo cruise and a double occupancy. Make up a name, put Emma down as your second
Yeah.
person, and
Yep.
then and then if Emma no shows, you cry yourself to sleep that night, but you at least you still get the double points as a solo cruiser. And in a lot of cases, having a fake second person is
Yeah.
cheaper than booking it solo on your own, which is really strange, but
It is, isn't it?
yeah.
It's strange to think
Works.
about it, but I think you need to remember really cruise lines make a lot of money through drinking, casino spend, excursions. They want people. You kind of think, oh, well, I'm not doing anything by not sharing, but I can see kind of from the cruise line's perspective as well why they would want to make the most of how many bathrooms they've made if they can get 2 people to use each one. It makes sense. But
Yeah.
yes. Question from Robert: have you ever done Christmas cruising? Matt, Christmas
I'm
cruising.
doing my first Christmas cruise coming up this month. I've done Thanksgiving, I've done New Year's, but never actually sailed over the Christmas holiday. But we're coming on. We're going to be boarding Navigator of the Seas on December 24th. So it'll be fun to see what that's all about.
It's going to be amazing. You're gonna love it. So I've cruised at Christmas with MSC and with Norwegian, both very different Christmases. The Norwegian one, I think the American Christmas is closer to a British Christmas than Italian Christmas, but we kind of just went into it with, whatever happens, happens. We'll go with the flow. We'll see what this is like. I had no idea what Italian Christmas would be like, and it was good fun. And when I came home, I just bought all of the discounted things that we would normally have for a Christmas dinner. And we had a big Christmas dinner after Christmas because I hadn't had that roast potatoes that I was looking forward to on the cruise. But it was good. It was really good. Yes. Marcus says, how about we get some likes on this live stream? We're closing in on 100 likes. Yes, that would be awesome. That would be very good. Yes. Thank you very much. I have a question for you, Matt. Can you ice skate?
Very, very poorly, but yes, actually,
In a
me and my
straight
daughter
line?
were ice skating on Harmony this season last week.
Oh, awesome. I went ice skating yesterday for the first time in, I don't know, a long time. And
I don't know about you, but I can just do I can stand up and then I use one leg to push off and then I glide until I run out of energy and then another leg to push off again. That's the extent of it.
I can do a couple of the thing was the ice skating rink I was on was fairly small, so it was kind of a scoot, 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 turn, and I was going like, ooh, and then this one leg has clearly been supporting me for that hour of going around in a circle because one of my legs hurts.
The bottom of my feet always hurts so much. That's the problem. I could go there, but it's like the bottoms always just like kill me after about 15 minutes.
Yeah. I have roller skates. I haven't been on them for a very long time, but I would like to try. But yeah, it does feel like I feel like my ankles are gonna go kind of, but it was good fun. It was very Christmassy. I was just telling Matt before this live stream. So I'm cruising over Christmas and I'm planning very much to hibernate until then. I work for myself now. I can work inside. There's no need for me to go anywhere. I really don't want to get anything that's gonna mess up my Christmas cruise. So I'll be inside for a while. Looking forward to it. Oh, I have a question about my mug. Where did you get your Little Miss Blogger mug? I got this for Christmas a few years ago, maybe. Not too sure. Love you and Matt. Can't wait till you get your plaque. You deserve it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I agree.
Appreciate that one. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, everyone, for your comments. It's just, I mean, Matt, it's nice to do these live streams with other people who do YouTube live streams because I feel like you can understand I want to keep up with everything, but it just goes so fast.
It does.
We have a question from Davin for Matt. Do you have a favorite cookie on board? Any ship, any line?
Favorite cookie? Call me old fashioned. Chocolate chip is always good. There's a lot of people on Royal that love Ranger cookies. I don't know if you ever had one of those, Emma.
I think so.
They're like a coconut based one, which is that's a non-starter for me.
No, if you coconuts just ruins chocolates, it ruins biscuits, it ruins everything. Chocolate chip cookie, you can't really go wrong with that. Good answer. I like it. And thank you for my super chat, by the way. Alfred says, would you ever take a cruise on the Carnival Mardi Gras, Matt?
Oh, for me? Never say never, but I'm not in any rush to try out any lines. Certainly not. I mean, the Mardi Gras looks interesting. There's a lot of ships out there that look interesting. They have different. That's the nice thing about cruising is that even though as much as I love Royal Caribbean, there's things that other cruise lines do that are a little more. Maybe you miss. Oh, that's a nice thing that they do, or I really like that particular feature. So I'm certainly intrigued by it, but I don't have any plans to go on there. But ever is a strong word, so I would say but not anytime soon.
That's the thing with live streams. If you said right now, no, I'll never go on Carnival Mardi Gras, someone would find this, and if you went on in 8 years' time, they would be coming for you. So yes, I would love to try Carnival's Mardi Gras. I would just love to try Carnival. I've never cruised with Carnival. I've tried before. My first attempt was in 2020, and we know what happened there. And I'm going to soon. I haven't booked anything, but hopefully I will. Oh, have we ever cruised across the Pacific to Hawaii? I have not. So no.
My parents did actually. I have a shirt to prove it, but I did not do it. But I have a nice Royal Caribbean Hawaii shirt, even though I've never been there. But I have the shirt to prove it. But it's
Any
any of those transoceanic sailings are really impressive because you just get so much time on the ship. You get to know the crew members so well. It's you have no excuse for missing out on any activity on board.
no.
There's nothing like it.
Yeah, no, I have. I can't really add anything to that one. I'm sorry, but concern for rough sea days. The same as if you have any cruise where it has a big chunk of sea days, you're just multiplying your chance of rough weather. I'm taking a cruise down to the Canary Islands soon that's got three sea days. I've never done 3 sea days in a row before. Goes through the Bay of Biscay, which for us in the UK, the Bay of Biscay is notorious for its rough seas. But also it can be completely smooth. It's just there's no way to know. I mean, at least in the Bay of Biscay, there's not really better times or worse times. You just take your chance with it. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I feel like people in general, people are worried about, rough seas, is this month good? Is that month good? And your answer, Emma, is exactly what I tell people, which is that there is no time of year, no day, no week, no month that you can say with absolute certainty you will have smooth seas. It can happen any time of the year, whether it's hurricane season or not hurricane season, whether you're in the Pacific, the Atlantic, Caribbean, doesn't matter. So don't be preoccupied with that. Plan your cruise that you want to go on. If there's bad weather, that's what Bonine is for. Any of the over-the-counter medications, ginger ale, green apples, the patch behind your ear. I mean, there's plenty of easy ways to deal with seasickness and that kind of a thing. We were on, as I mentioned, Harmony of the Seas. We had actually really rough seas, and probably the roughest I've ever been on an Oasis class ship. And it is what it is. We didn't let it stop us. We took the precautions that we needed, and that was it. So we still had a great time.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, the worst I've had is just in the Mediterranean, which is not, there's no particular reason. We just hit a storm there, and it can happen anywhere. But yeah, I get seasick. I don't go anywhere without seasickness tablets. Recently, I bought for the car these glasses that have water in the bottom, and they're supposed to stop you from getting travel sick. And I had those on for about 4 hours and I didn't get travel sick, but you look ridiculous. So I'm not sure. It's kind of the thing. I don't know. I think I
might do the rest of the broadcast with his glasses on.
Yeah, I don't know where they are. I think they're still in the car, but I'm considering making just like a really short video about it. Just like I bought this weird thing and it does work, but at what cost? That's kind of what I'm thinking. When the traffic slows down, you walk up, you go next. It's got circles on the side and the front. So when someone comes up next to you, you see them through the side of your glasses. It's really awkward. I will show you after this. But yeah, I might make a little video about it that can go out when I'm on a cruise. Just because it was just funny. It was funny. But yeah, don't let it put you off any kind of cruise itinerary. It can happen anywhere, anytime. Just a kind of game of chance, I suppose. So
Absolutely.
yes. Oh, Brenda is going on Allure on Saturday. Is that a good one?
Oh yeah, Allure's fantastic. Oasis class ship. Allure is the I call it the OG Oasis class. It is that has not been amplified or anything like that. It's the original flavor of Oasis class, but it's absolutely fantastic. First of all, you've got Mamma Mia, the Broadway musical on there. That is complimentary. Cool. So go check that out for sure. I mean, that alone is enough reason to book the cruise, but you're gonna absolutely love it. Great dining on board. You just asked me, is filet mignon a good cut of steak? Yes, it is.
It reminds me of when I took a Viking cruise. In the theatre, they had a show that was a mix of Beatles and ABBA. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but it was amazing. But I'd like to see Mamma Mia on a cruise. That would be really cool. We have a question that says, has Matt ever done a weekend cruise on Royal Caribbean? What's the shortest?
This week or in general?
Just ever?
No, I've done a lot of them. I've done a ton of weekend cruises. This is like hashtag living in Florida. This is like our DNA. This is we're so spoiled here in Florida because we have ships that go out on Friday, come back on Monday. And before I was doing Royal Caribbean blog for the full time, you could really leave on Friday and be back to work by Monday, tired, but you'd be there. And done them all the time. We just did one in October with my kids. It's great for the school schedule because it allows us to, again, not miss much time at all. They can leave a little bit early, take them over there, go. It's fantastic. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend it for a first timer. I think they're just so quick. 3-night cruise over in a heartbeat. But if you've been there, done that, and just looking for an escape, it's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you, Catherine, for my super sticker. This reminds me of when I took my Disney cruise, because we did it over a weekend, but it would have involved kids having one day off school, but I guess lots of kids did. And then on Disembarkation Day, the kids were all in their uniforms, literally going back to school on
That's
the
us.
Monday morning.
Yep, dropping them off.
Yeah, well, I can imagine that in school. How was your weekend? I was on a Disney go, just came back.
And we
Gosh.
just joke that we went to the Bahamas for the weekend. You know, it's
Yeah.
really with Coco, with the new Perfect Day Coco Key, it is amazing the weekend in the Bahamas. Like, just, you
Yeah.
know, you're there
Crazy.
for the weekend and back. It feels nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I look at the prices. I think if I could just, it's for me, it's obviously getting there. It's quite a long way to get across to Florida, but sometimes, especially the last minute ones that I see go by, I'm like, I'm free, but I'm very, very far away from this really good deal. Are there any cruise lines that you don't have to have the COVID vaccine shot? As far as I know, it's only MSC, and are they still doing that or not?
I don't know. I know for Royal Caribbean, the only people that can be unvaccinated on Royal Caribbean are under the age of 12.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was MSC, but I would check that because I'm not 100% sure that they haven't now changed that one. Oh, we have a question about Navigator of the Seas. You will know this one. Well, you know anything Royal Caribbean, but seeing some not so favorable reviews for the first few cruises out of LA. Do you think it'll get better, or do you think?
Do you have time for a quick rant?
Yes, of
Is that
course.
okay?
Please go ahead. I'll just sit here with Minnie Hudson.
Okay. Never, ever, ever rely on online reviews. And you're saying, Matt, but these are people who've been on a cruise. Surely these are why shouldn't we read them? I want you to go to Google, and I want you to Google Great Wall of China. You Google Great Wall of China, one of man's greatest creations ever.
Mm-hmm.
It has a Google rating of 4.1 stars.
Yeah.
So the Great Wall of China does not have 5-star reviews. So if you think about that for a second, if the Great Wall of China, one of the greatest things that ever created, doesn't have 5-star reviews, and some of the negative reviews are absolutely absurd, didn't realize it's outdoors, there's no air conditioning, it's old, it's run down.
It's outdoors.
Now I want you to apply that to cruise reviews,
Mm-hmm.
and how a lot of time people are anything but objective in their reviews. So number one, ignore online reviews completely. They're if you want it for entertainment purposes, knock yourself out. But the last thing you should really do is ever base your decision to book a cruise based on any online reviews. They are, I mean, it's the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
They're meaningless. They're useless. Figure out what is important, though, is what Emma talks about a lot. Look for what's available on the cruises. Are you looking for water slides because you got kids, or you just like water slides? Well, then pick a ship that has water slides. You're looking for a cruise that goes to warm and sunny beaches, go there. Figure out what the ship has that applies to you, but don't rely on other people to give you advice on it, because online reviews are notoriously inaccurate. So now that all that being said, I'm going on Navigator at the end of this month. I'll share my experiences. I never say you should or shouldn't book this, but I'll just share what it's like. But I've been on Navigator a number of times, not out of LA, obviously, but I love Navigator, and I have no doubt in my mind we'll have an awesome time.
Yeah, I think you need to think too about who the people are who write a review, because if I go to a restaurant, it's fine. I don't write a review. It's fine. I don't write reviews for cruises online other than my videos, because most people who are happy don't. They just don't think about it. It's only people who've got something to, go and complain
and a
about.
lot of times people get hung up on one particular thing, and then they number one, I don't think any cruise ship in the world deserves a 1-star review, as an example. And there's plenty of 1-star reviews that are out there.
Oh yeah.
It's just people aren't objective in their views, and in a lot of cases, when you dig in through, it's like, okay, so you're upset because of this particular thing, which either wouldn't bother you, wouldn't apply to you, whatever the case may be. So yeah, just kidder, ignore the review, book it. You'll thank me later when you get back and have an awesome time.
Yeah, I don't look at reviews. I looked at we booked a really cheap Costa cruise, and I looked at the reviews for that knowing that they would be awful. And I made a video about it called I took the worst rated cruise on Cruise Critic, because it had a 1.4-star rating or something.
Wow.
But most of the complaints were things that are clearly said on the website.
Yes.
So people will say, oh, the food's really Italian. And I'm like, what did you think was going to happen? If it wasn't Italian on this Italian cruise line, there would be way more complaints. So, take things with a pinch of salt. And I don't read reviews before I mean, I'd watch YouTube videos from someone like you, but I wouldn't go through the forums and see what everyone else is saying. Not worth it.
Nope.
Oh, Tristan and Justin say MSC, now you have to be double jabbed if you're over 12. So yes, every cruise line jabbed. Jabs here in the UK, not shots. We go with jabs. Oh, we have a question. It says, Emma, for all the cruises you have taken, how many times have you used their spa? Very few times I have used the spa. So if someone went on a cruise and they wrote a bad review because they hated the spa, it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to use the spa. Sometimes people give it a 1 star because the kids' clubs are closed. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. So that's the kind of thing why online reviews are a bit tricky. But I have been, sometimes I will go in the kind of thermal area of spas. I have had a couple of like massages and stuff, but only when I've been on press trips and the cruise lines paid for it. I cannot relax knowing I paid £80 for half an hour. I just could not. I would be the opposite of relaxed. I would be so stressed. And I wouldn't do that on land. So it's just not a thing I do.
Yeah, my wife has done a number of massages on. That's like her thing on.
Well, fair enough. That's your thing.
Yeah, and she likes it a lot. You know, they're not the cheapest spot out there. Certainly, if you're looking for a deal, I'd say the best prices are definitely on land. When you're visiting in certain ports, you'll find a much better price. But the nice thing about this, they do a great job. It's really professional folks there in both their demeanor and their abilities, obviously. And you know, if you pre-purchase things, you might get a better deal on a specific treatment. If you're looking, there will also be deals every day on like usually combo deals, like, you know, get a 20 minutes of this, 20 minutes of that kind of a thing on there. And there are discounts depending on your status in Crown and Anchor Society on top of anything else. So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, just no, I just don't see how it makes people more relaxed. It just makes me more.
It feels nice, but then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, I feel like myself again. So I don't know.
No, it doesn't. I just the whole time I'm just there feeling more. Oh no, not for me. No, thank you. You can keep it. Justin says that he always writes reviews on Google for small businesses. See, that's really nice. Sometimes I will do that if I, you know, buy something and I can tell it's a family-run business or someone's trying to set up a business. Then yes, but generally speaking, if I go to, you know, a chain restaurant, I'm not going to write a review for it. Or if I go on a cruise, I'm not going to write a review for it. So yeah.
Sure.
Oh, question says, how long does embarkation take now because of all the new protocols? I've had a range from 4 hours to 20 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
To be honest.
Royal has been extremely fast. I think number one, they're not the line that does the testing at the terminal, although now they offer it as a backup option. But I let me tell you, I did it once. Have I done it once or twice? I've done it once for sure. On Adventure this season when they first restarted in June in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
I greatly prefer to do the test on my own time and just be able to breeze on through. But if you don't have unvaccinated children and you're just going on there, it's actually faster now because they've eliminated the waiting in the terminal thing, which used to be the bulk of the time. So if you do all the necessary steps before the cruise in the Royal Caribbean app and you upload a selfie photo, if you fill out your passport information, do all that stuff, you will almost never stop walking. It's just a matter of, okay, you're good to go. All right, Mr. Wu-Tang Life, here you are. Here's your thing. You're on your way. You can go to security. Like, it's really impressive how quickly it moves. And I would say it's certainly less than an hour. I mean, I'd say it's probably in the ballpark about 30 minutes at the most. Really just a matter of time, how quickly you can traverse the different lines and whatnot.
Yeah. I will say the 4 hour one I had was the very first cruise out of the UK. So it was the first time they were trying things. It's a bit different for us from the UK because every cruise line does a test at the port still. But most of the cruise lines, at least if you're cruising from Southampton, which is our biggest port, they have a drive-through testing center now. So you literally drive through, wind down the windows, do the test. The bit that takes time is just sitting there waiting for your results or waiting for your kind of car parking. So once you get out and you get your all clear and you go, I'd say most of them have taken half an hour, something like that. And I much prefer it. Doing all that stuff on the app before it just breezes through. I have a super chat for Emma's Spa Fund. Thank you very much.
There you go.
John says, how good are cruise lines about refunds in this time of COVID variants? Would love to go to Africa and see a baby giraffe and baby elephant.
Well, I can tell you with Royal Caribbean, you're not going to Africa, but with Royal Caribbean, they've been very fair with the refund. They basically say if you test positive at any point up to 14 days before your cruise, you get a full refund, no questions asked, or they'll rebook you if you'd say I'd rather just delay this cruise another couple weeks.
Yeah.
You can do that as well. If you're test positive on the cruise, and they had to take you off the ship prematurely, you would be prorated for whatever time that you lost out on that, which is more than
That's
fair
good,
because they
yeah.
certainly don't have to do that.
Yeah, I have to say, I think Royal Caribbean are one of the best ones at looking after people in that situation. We had someone in my Facebook group who he tested positive and they had to be quarantined in a hotel with other people from different cruise lines, but also in the same hotel. And he was way better looked after than the other cruise lines. They said the food that they had was awful in the hotel. So Royal Caribbean gave them like hundreds of pounds of Just Eat vouchers so they could just order food while they were there. And they were well taken care of. They were very happy with how Royal dealt with it. So yeah, it's tricky when it comes to refunds. It depends how you book as well. Some travel agents have been really bad with it, at least at the start. They're getting better now, but some are better than others. The travel agent I work with was rated #1 for refund speed. Just a little thing there. One of the main reasons that I don't book through anyone else now, because it's just so easy.
And you can't forget her name.
And no, I can't. Her name is Emma. She sent me this Christmas tree. How adorable is this? It came in the post. It's a one that comes through the letterbox straight into the house. And you build your own Christmas tree. And this one's got like a scarf and a hat.
Post is your Britishism for the day.
Oh, post. Yeah, of course. I haven't done post yet. That's a good one. And yeah, we will have our post. We don't have it. We have to walk. Sometimes I see people walk into their, ours just comes in the front door. Always in the front door. And also here, I mean, it seems like in the UK, we take in post for other people a lot more than in other countries. Like every day I'm taking in parcels for my neighbor and they're taking in them for me. And sometimes I get comments that's like, I wouldn't let my neighbors have my parcels. But luckily, mine are pretty nice. Oh, we've got a question about some sweets. Oh, but it is Royal Caribbean to Norwegian. I know the Norwegian side if you know the Royal Caribbean side. How would you compare Royal's Junior Suite to Norwegian's Mini Suite? I've stayed in a Mini Suite, I think, on Encore, and it was just more spacious than a balcony cabin. It was nothing particularly... Yeah, I wouldn't pay extra for it above a normal balcony.
Yeah, junior suites on Royal Caribbean, despite the name, are not really suites. They're just extra large balcony rooms. You don't get the full suite benefits despite the name. You get a extra large balcony. Your room size is obviously bigger. You're going to get a full bathtub. That's probably one of the biggest changes. Instead of just a stand-up shower, you get a bathtub, you get a walk-in closet, and you get enhanced toiletries in there as well. And you get double crown and anchor points, which for some people is important.
Yeah. Well, I just saw a comment that says I'm being a bit unfair to say that about travel agents. I did not mean to be unfair. I love travel agents. I just meant some of the bigger companies that at least we've had in the UK had terrible track records for refunds, as in they had the money from the cruise lines, but they didn't pass it on for a long time. So a couple of those I won't book through anymore, but I have booked through before. If you're in doubt, please use a travel agent because they have had the worst time for the last couple of years. I have no idea how they've done it.
I'd also point out that I don't know if it is in the UK. I think it's different in the UK than it is in the US, especially some of the larger travel agencies that you guys have over there versus over here in terms of where the money is handled and how it goes back and forth. With here in the US, travel agents rarely process themselves. They're just the middle people who actually process the payments. But when you look at your credit card, it says, Royal Caribbean on there. It doesn't say, the travel agency that I use. So it also can vary, who you're using and where you live and a variety of other things out there. But I agree, use a good travel agent. You should use them even before the pandemic, but especially now, it's so paramount. Just makes your life easier. It's like Emma. It's like going. I don't know what it's like in the UK, but it's like going to court. If you go to court, you can represent yourself, right, and be your own lawyer. It's a terrible idea because you have to figure all this stuff out by yourself. But have a lawyer for it. But in this case, the lawyer is free. The travel agent is complimentary for their services, which is just a huge win.
Yeah, I just like it's a silly reason, but one of the main reasons I work with Emma, because everything's in an app and I'm very much an app person. I can see all my cruises. If I want to pay £20 on that one, I just go pay £20. And nice. I used to hate, some travel agents you have to phone. I don't want to phone you to pay. So I quite like that. But yeah, loads of great travel agents out there. Sorry if I didn't mean to be unfair or mean. So yes. Thank you, Jackie, for our super chat. She says, I'm late to the party because I was on a Segway tour in Fort Lauderdale. That is the best reason to be late to the party.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that excuse.
Yeah, of course. Boarding Odyssey tomorrow for first back-to-back. Woohoo! Enjoy you both. Thank you very much,
Thank
Jackie. That's really kind. Thank you, Perry, as well, for my super chat. Just saying hi to Emma and Matt. About to board my first Royal Caribbean cruise on Navigator. Your ship tour was super helpful. Brilliant. It seems like everyone is going off now, doesn't it? It's so nice.
Yep, it's beginning to look a lot like cruise time.
Yes.
Right.
For a while it was a bit everyone was cancelling and everything was going wrong, but yes,
Yep.
please onwards and upwards. We have a question from Jenny that says, would you choose a regular balcony or a Central Park inward looking balcony? Matt.
Oh, depends, obviously a couple things. Number one, is there a price difference? Usually Central Park is cheaper because it faces Central Park instead of the ocean. My wife would sit here and tell you, Jenny, that she prefers, no matter what the price is, to do ocean view because she just likes having the view of the ocean. I like Central Park. I think it's really nice. It's great for people watching. It's really pretty in there at night. There's live music in Central Park, so you can hear it on your balcony, which is nice. Again, price probably being the number one motivator. Beyond that, let's say they're the same price. I like to, try to change things up now and then and do a Central Park because you can always do a ocean view balcony on any other ship in the fleet. But Central Parks are only available on the Oasis class, so mix it up a little bit.
Something a bit different. I think it would depend for me where I was going as well. If there were certain sailings that I really wanted to see, I don't want to be looking inside. But if there's not, if I was cruising, a lot of the ports, at least here in Northern Europe, are very industrial. It's not through the rain clouds. There's not that much to see. So be more interesting that people watch. I'd be a bit. I don't know how much can people watch me.
Oh, they can see you.
Exactly.
You're not. You better be dressed when you're out there. But
Yeah.
I think in general, most people are kind of doing their own. They're not like I certainly don't pay that much attention to other people that are out there.
Yeah. That's my only. I mean, I would love to try it. That's the only thing that I think about. Oh, good question. I recently traveled to Iceland for a week where my cell was required. How essential is a cell phone for cruising?
For Royal Caribbean, it's definitely helpful. The role of the reason you need a cell phone is really for the Royal Caribbean app, right? Pre-pandemic, the app was like, oh, it's nice to have. You certainly can use it. Now it's become much more essential. It's not critical. I mean, certainly Royal Caribbean says you need to have it, but you can cruise without it. I just think you're putting yourself at a disservice without it. Certainly on Embarkation Day, my goodness, the amount of time it saves you. We talked about that a little bit earlier. But then in general, like you can, the app, I just find it helpful because you obviously look through the cruise compass to see what activities are coming up. It can notify you, hey, you've got dinner coming up in half an hour. You can reserve things. There's a chat feature, which unfortunately costs money, although Rail says they're going to change that. Anyway, that's part of that as well. But overall, there's some also functions like on some ships you can turn the lights on, you could open the door with the app. But in general, it's to your advantage to have it rather than not. But if you don't want to use it, I would say at least bring it for Embarkation Day and then leave it in Europe for the rest of the cruise if that's how you feel about it. But I bring it everywhere because that's how I am.
Yeah, no, me too. I always needed to take photos and things, so I've always got my phone on me. But yeah, if you don't want to bring your phone, you still can do everything. There's a way to do everything. But sometimes it's so much faster especially with a lot of the places, you'll have the QR code menus and things. And I like looking at the menus before I even go there sometimes on the app. And you can wait for a paper menu if you want, but just things like that I like doing on the app. So yeah, you can. If you do have a phone, though, I would recommend bringing it. It was strange on my last P&O cruise because P&O have finally got an app just now. They never had one pre-pandemic, so
wow.
I'm happy that they're catching up finally and they're trying. But the kind of daily schedule is just missing from the app, which is the main thing that I think I look at. What's happening around now. But everyone still had to take a picture of it, and I was like, they could just upload a picture of it surely to the app. But it is their first thing, so I'm happy that they're giving it a go.
Better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never. I've tried all kinds of apps this summer. I think, to be honest, the MSC one worked best, which is not what I would have expected at the start of the year. The celebrity one was pretty good. I've heard that some people have had trouble with it, but for me, it was brilliant. Mark says, have you ever had a bad experience on a cruise and got something back from the cruise company? I have not.
No, I've had one time we had I was sitting, I wasn't on the ship, I was just at home and I got an email like your shore excursion has been canceled. I said, All right, that's
Huh.
strange. And I
Yeah.
forwarded my travel agent, and then they actually Royal Caribbean had accidentally canceled the entire cruise,
Oh.
which was really like,
Oops.
only time it's oops is right. This is when, again, having a travel agent really helpful because I
Yeah.
continued doing my stuff. My travel agent was over there banging doors and not
Good.
doing all those things. And we got some extra onboard credit for the trouble. Oh, there was actually one more. There was one point we were in a suite and there was a leak. Something was leaking into the bathroom. At
Oh.
first, I thought, see, Emma, I blame my kids. I was like, all right, who left the
Yeah.
shower on too long? That's what you do as a
Mhm.
parent. You blame your kids initially for everything.
That's what they're for.
And then it turns out after like 2 days, it's not the kids.
Yeah.
And then, but the stat, the housekeeper, we alerted them, and they had all these other people came. Long story short, they came, took care of it, and we got some extra onboard credit for our troubles. So they're really good about it. In terms of just you got to be obviously polite, identify the
Mhm.
problem, let them know there's a problem. How can we fix this? How can we make this better? And work with them in that regard. And they're usually really accommodating. They want you to have a good time, obviously. And if it's something that they did that's on their
Yeah.
end, they usually own up to it pretty quickly.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had anything, or if I have, I haven't remembered because it hasn't been that dramatic. But
Yeah.
you quite often get things where there'll be an accidental charge on your account and you can sort things like that out. But I think if you remember what the people at the reception have to deal with all day, every day, and just go and be polite and nice to them and say, thank you for helping me, they're more than happy to help you. I mean, I try and be not a difficult kind of customer. So yeah, but I can't think of any disasters or anything like that.
Yeah, it's more the exception than the norm. So that's the good
Yeah,
news.
yeah. I mean, it's the same with the reviews. The people who had something go wrong, they run to the reviews, whereas the rest of us just don't even think about it ever again.
Of course.
Um, oh, have you done any bridge tours? That's a good question. Touring the
Yeah,
bridge?
I've done a number of bridge tours. Royal Caribbean offers tours through the pre-pandemic it was called the All Access Tour. I don't
Hmm.
believe those have come back yet, but I've done a number of them. It's pretty cool. If you close your eyes, unless you're driving, don't close your eyes. If you close your eyes and think to yourself, would seeing the bridge of a cruise ship be really cool? I think inevitably your gut answer, like, is it? Some people might say like that sounds extremely boring, or some people like, well, that's really cool. I thought it
Yeah,
was really interesting. It's really interesting to see how they do that. It is not what you think. I think a lot of people assume that it looks like a scene out of like The Hunt for Red October, where it's like the captain's like sitting in the chair and it's like
yeah,
hard starboard 20 degrees. It's not
yeah.
like that at
Nothing.
all. No, but it's really cool seeing all the technology, how like they have paper maps, but they never use them because they're using all the
It's quite
digital
nice though
things
with
there.
the big flags and everything. They still have those, don't they? Just
Yep.
for show a bit. I've done a couple of bridge tours. I think the most interesting ones are the ones that go behind the scenes to like the laundry and places like
Yeah.
that. I find that really interesting. With Norwegian, I'm the whatever the top status is, and one of those is like a behind the scenes tour, or at least it was. And on my last Norwegian cruise, we went in all of the where the food is and the big bread bakery section, and I find that stuff more interesting than the bridge. It's cool to be on the bridge, but to see the huge, like just the quantities of the sheets that are being folded in the laundry just blew my mind. That's
Yeah.
what I always think about. Oh, question: how do you deal with the cruise blues when you leave the ship after a week?
Patrick, cruising are like ex-girlfriends. Nothing gets you over the last one like the next one. So just book
Um,
another cruise.
That's brilliant advice. um, yeah, I'd say sometimes I focus on a few things that are better at home than on the cruise. So I'll be like, oh, it's so nice to have my own toast. No cruise line does toast quite like I do toast at home.
Mm.
Or it's nice to have my bath, like I only have a cruise on. I try and focus on those things to get myself.
Internet. The
Yeah.
internet works really
Also,
well.
Cat Hudson here and other things. But yeah, you will get there. There's not much you can do. Amazingly, it has been nearly an hour, Matt. It has flown by. Thank you very much for being my guest today. Do you
My
have
pleasure.
anything you would like to say? Stage is yours.
Well, I appreciate you, of course, inviting me here again, Emma. It's always fun talking Royal Caribbean. I know deep down that is your favorite cruise line. I'm not allowed to share the private messages we have, but listen, I think it's time that the public knows that you love Royal Caribbean the most,
Uh-huh.
and it's okay. It's you got to play the game. We understand there, but thank you for
Mhm.
inviting me here. I always appreciate talking cruising, learning some new Britishisms, and saying hi to your mom. So thank
Yeah,
you
mum's
all
always in
for
there.
joining us
There you
here.
go. Britishism, mum instead of I can't say mum in an American accent. But thank you so much to everyone who has joined us today. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you all for your really nice messages. It's so nice to see you all. I will be back next week at the same time. And I have Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides as my guest next week. So that will be cool to talk to Morgan. Thank you, everybody. What is Matt's YouTube? Matt's YouTube is Royal Caribbean Blog. You will. I'm sorry if I forgot to put it in the description. Royal Caribbean Blog. Easy to find. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.